is Bryce, and I'm your host for The Inbound Secret, where we're talking with top performers and health experts and sales badasses alike about their strategies to optimize their well-being and performance. Once again, this is The Inbound Secret, and let's get rocking and rolling.
This is The Inbound. This is The Inbound. This is The Inbound. The Inbound. This is The Inbound Secret.
Welcome back to The Inbound Secret, guys. As always, I am your host, Bryce Vance, CEO and founder of Funnel Driven and The Inbound Secret, of course. I've got kind of a special guest for you guys today. You guys may have seen some of the articles we've posted, some of the content we've put out there, the video that we put in the ClickFunnels community about how to, for the lack of a better term, circumvent iOS 14, IPT, ad blockers, as well as your normal like cookie and caching blocks and browser limitations. Capibox was more or less the star of our last video in the ClickFunnels community, talking about a solution that we've been using that's helped us and our clients be able to continuously generate 5, 6, and up to 7 figures of revenue without losing our vital consumer data. We didn't lose arbitration, we didn't lose attrition data, we didn't lose tracking data. And this is with iOS 14 and Safari being in place, as well as ad blocks, cookie blocks, IPT issues. So I was thankful enough to be able to hear from the CEO and founder of Capibox. Gerbert is joining us today to talk to us about his journey, what made him decide to come and solve this problem right away, what the difference between Capibox and Capi, which many of you in e-com may be used to, and how that kind of plays, and then kind of just drop some bombs for y'all. So without further ado, Gerbert, thanks for hopping on. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Yeah, hi Bryce. Thanks for having me today. Yeah, so my name is Gerbert, and originally I'm from a small country in Europe called Lithuania. It's absolutely the most beautiful country. So my online journey started maybe 10, 12 years ago. I was building simple local online stores. Then I moved to work to some big local online stores and businesses. So I worked for 4 or 5 years. And several years ago, I don't remember, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, we failed one of our crypto startups. It was like a huge failures with a lot of losses. It's a nightmare. Never again. So for the half a year of a year, the living costs of my family was covered by my wife, because literally it was like a bankrupt for me. Yeah, and then we found out ClickFunnels. It's I didn't know actually about that, and we understood that ClickFunnels community is huge. Yeah, and ClickFunnels is a platform which focused on digital goods, and we understood that there are a lot of people who uses ClickFunnels for physical goods, and there were no any order management system and any fulfillment integration. So we created our own software called Dropton, which fulfills ClickFunnels orders on AliExpress. So basically, it does the same as Operlo, but for ClickFunnels. Currently, software it lives and it works. We have more than 1,000 users. So getting back to this software, before releasing to public, we understood that we need to test this software, and so we created our first dropshipping store. So in the first month, without no hard attempts, we generated 30K revenue. And we understood that dropshipping can be like a huge business. Yeah. So we started to create a lot of dropshipping businesses. Also, we moved to private label business, like pure e-commerce. And last year, we generated 7 figures for several of our funnels. And we received two CC awards last year.
Awesome.
So yeah, and back in August 2020, we were thinking how to outsmart the Facebook tracking and what we need to do to prepare to Q4, to the best sales of e-commerce, the huge sales like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, and so on.
So I've got a question for you, and I hate to interrupt you, but I think it's important for everybody to kind of have an understanding. This happened for us. I don't know if this was on purpose by your design, but it did happen for us. So Facebook and ClickFunnels inherently have about a 15% fail rate on tracking. So there's always about like, say this is all of your tracking, 100%. It only really accurately tracks about this much. There's about a 15% margin where ClickFunnels and Facebook aren't correct, aren't on time, aren't updated, maybe have a few days delay. They don't track perfectly, right? Now, for a lot of people, 15% is a big issue, right? Like, can you operate a company with a 15% fail rate? 100%. I mean, Amazon does it, Walmart does it, Apple does it, Microsoft does it. Some of the biggest names in the world do it. And inherently, so do most small businesses. However, this isn't why we got Capibox or why we started using outside tracking AI. We did that to avoid having to deal with IPT, ad blocks, and inherently iOS. But we noticed a funny thing happened when we did that. Even just in our test accounts, our fail rate went down to like 3 to 5% of ad tracking. Was that something that you guys were actively looking to resolve when you were building it, or was that just like a happy accident?
Yeah, so I will tell a little bit pre-story of how, but one of the reasons, we were losing actually not the 50%, but we were losing like 25, 30%. And it was a huge issue for us because you're like, you don't know. You have like 1,000 conversions per day, and you see in Facebook like 700, and you don't know what was the ad set, what was the trigger for like the rest of 300 conversions. So you pay money and you don't know how to run them and how to operate efficiently. So one of the reasons was that we started to check how can we increase the success rate of ads tracking to 100%. And we understood that there is a conversions API, like server-side tracking on Facebook. And also we found out the like early article of Facebook that they will release iOS 14 restrictions for Facebook. So it was like a no-brainer for us to make an integration for all of our funnels and websites and e-commerce businesses to have a server-side tracking before fourth quarter. So we built this solution, and it was like a best decision in 2020 because like we received 100% tracking. Like maybe I say 100%, but let's say like 95%, 97%. And it was like a game changer for us because you understood that what ads convert and what ads do not convert. So you can make a data-driven decision for your business. And if we operate in online business only, we don't have offline. So we know where each penny is being spent. So, and in last December, like 2 months ago, we were thinking maybe we like invested a lot of money in this server-side tracking solution. And one of the idea was maybe let's do it like a software as a service solution for other merchants, not only for us. So that's how Capibox was born. So we created a software as a service. We make like onboarding processes. We make a website for it, and so on and so on and so on. So currently, Capibox works with ClickFunnels, with drop funnels, with Funnelair, with Gumroad, and Typeform. So we are looking to integrate more platforms. currently it works like with these 5 platforms.
Now, for everybody listening, just so you know, and this may not have inherently been something you guys chose, but because you guys do work with drop funnels, you also inherently work with WordPress, like by default. And we've been testing this. We've been able to install your tracking codes through Capibox, same exact setup that you would do in drop funnels or ClickFunnels, into a custom domain WordPress site, and it still tracks.
Nice. You made my day.
Now, I can't promise that for everybody listening. I can just tell you our experience, it still works. So that may be something, because I know there's a lot of people. We have people come to us all the time asking about, well, I'm using Shopify, or I'm using ClickFunnels, or I'm using XYZ, but I really want to control more of it, right? Like I don't want the restrictions. And that's where custom e-com WordPress site comes in, where you can use like BigCommerce or Woofu, right? And or WooCommerce. So we were curious, does it work? Because drop funnels is by default a WordPress funnel builder. It's like Thrive Architect. And we were like, well, if it works for drop funnels, it should work for just a normal WordPress site. Should track. We got it to track. So that may be kind of your next evolution, is to kind of add that in as a default. Now, like I said to everybody, I can't promise that it will work for you. We got it to work. I don't know if that's luck of the draw or if it just inherently will always work, but just so you're aware, Gerbert, there seems to be like this cascading benefit to it, right? And you're not alone in this marketplace. Like, you've got competitors. You've got Hyros, you've got you highlight one, Lead something. I always forget the name of it.
Leads Bridge.
Yeah, Leads Bridge. You've got SEMmetrics, Supermetrics. You've got a bunch of different, whether AI or direct conversion API tracking algorithms out there that help you do that. You're not the only one. But the reason I want to highlight that is this podcast isn't just about highlighting you and your journey and talking to the community. It's giving people resources, right? Giving them tips, action. Now, with that being said, there's a reason we chose to work with Capibox, and there's a reason why we highlight it. And for all of those you listening, if you guys want to take a look at signing up for Capibox, start the free trial, see if it's something you like, I'll have a link in the description of this episode that you guys can click and get your free trial set up. But the reason we chose you guys is, one, you're remarkably competitive in price, right? But more importantly, you did something that nobody else is doing. You have unlimited access to it. So you can set up for one account and theoretically do everything that you want to do in your one account without restriction. And that was a big thing for us, because now we've got a couple of them. Like, we've got the company side, our personal one, and our test, as we talked about in the ClickFunnels video. But that's just for us. Like, we didn't need multiple accounts. We did it just so that I don't accidentally screw up a client's account while I'm playing around with something. We want to make sure they're taken care of, right? So I kind of want to lead into talking a little bit about some stuff you mentioned. You mentioned that you came into the space and you had a massive failure before you decided to pivot, right? And the reason I want to highlight that is 2020, while yes, it impacted a lot of people, if you really think about it, wasn't so much different than any other year where some shit happens and you have to figure out how to get over that shit, right? Now, 2020 was a larger scale shitstorm, by all means, because it was an international issue. But the fact remains that shit's going to happen in your life, and you have to figure out how to overcome it, right? You overcome a massive failure. You said it basically bankrupted you. Talk to me a little bit about the mindset or the passion or the drive that you had to come back from that. And not just come back and do something to make $1 and get yourself out of a financial situation, but you came back to serve the community with something that you originally built just to help yourselves.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what was like the motivation, yeah, but like if we speak about my failure, yeah, so we didn't have anything to lose because we were like me and my partner, and we just were doing some stuff to like to see if we can like make something useful for community and to create like a value for people like with the software if they will start paying money for the software. So it was like for our first software. When we built like a second software like this Capibox, first of all, we understood that this will be a huge problem in 2021. Yeah, and currently, because we receive like tens of emails every day, and not all of the people understand that this is a huge problem. Because currently, Facebook has an agreement with Apple that you can have like 8 browser site events on your website. So let's say if you run a small funnel, browser site events should work for you. But if you like run a huge funnel, 8 events like you will set up only on the lead generation, yeah. Those 8.
To expand on that a little bit, just so everybody understands, 8 events sounds like a lot, right? But let's say that you do like a standard lead form opt-in to a standard OTO with 2 upsells and a follow-up trigger. You can run through all 8 tracking events before you finish your offer sequence, before you finish your value ladder. And the reason that's an issue is you've got page view, there's an event trigger. You've got lead opt-in, there's an event trigger. You've got thank you and confirmation, there's an event trigger. You've got offer 1 page view, there's an event trigger. You've got offer 1 acceptance or declination, there's an event trigger. You've got add to cart, there's an event trigger. You've got upsell add to cart, there's an event trigger. You've got downsell add to cart, there's an event trigger. You've got purchase fulfillment, there's an event trigger. You've got follow-up sequence, there's an event trigger. If you don't track all of those, and in that short sequence that I just ran through, I think I got up to what, 10 events for just like a normal OTO style funnel that's 3 to 5 pages. And what most people are failing to see is, okay, cool, well, I can still track the lead, right? Well, that's perfect. But do you know what that lead purchased? Because if your tracking ends at your initial offer and you've got 3 sales down that road, do you have any idea what they did? Exactly. Without server-side communications, you don't. You're basically just hoping that they bought your other stuff.
By the way, it's worth to mention that Capibox captures all of the upsell and sums the total value and then send it to Facebook. So let's say you have like a main product for $20, bump for $10, and like 2 upsells for total like $30. So Capibox will sum all of the value of the products and then will send to Facebook. So actually in Facebook Ads Manager, you will receive like actual value of the order. So it's like a huge benefit for advertisers to count the return on ad spend.
Yeah, because that's one of the inherent issues. Unless you set up multiple ads for multiple triggers and you use UTM codes, which, by the way, I recommend everybody uses to some extent. You don't have to use them internally if you don't care about that tracking, but a UTM code does also help you with knowing your analytics and your data. But unless you set up specific UTM codes to know each step, you're really relying on Facebook to be able to tell you, all right, what did they buy? Well, Facebook may or may not know by itself. Just like Google may or may not know by itself. What they're inherently good at is lead tracking. They know exactly how much it costs you to generate somebody's information because it's only one event. But what they're inherently bad at is multi-step tracking. And I want to be fair to them, right? I want to be fair to any company. It's not that it's impossible to do. It's that with every single time new regulation, new support, GDRP, ITC, ad blocks, new server-side responses, new regulations, new laws, every single time that happens, they have to basically reset their infrastructure to follow those guidelines. So
exactly, yep.
10 years ago, for instance, we could use income qualifiers for real estate agents. You cannot do that anymore. Not because the technology doesn't allow you to do it. If you access the back end of Facebook's API and look at it, it's there. They restricted it because it's a new regulation. It's a new law. We can't use it. And that inherently changes the way that fruition works. So when you were building this stuff out, when you were going from, you had a failure, you've had prior successes, you had a failure, it kind of bankrupted you, you came out, you saw some success, you were like, oh shit, the people need this. And then you started building the tool. Tell me about what inspired you to, for the lack of a better term, see your competition and then decide, well, they're doing this wrong. Let's do this better.
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, like Hyros, yeah. Hyros is like let's say it's like already big company in comparison with us.
Yeah.
But Hyros does multi-tracking. Yeah. They track email, they track calls, they track Google and Facebook. Yeah. So currently Capibox solves one problem.
Yeah.
Facebook server-side integration. Yeah. So we understood that Hyros is on another level, and like merchants, which like who doesn't have like $3,000, they need tracking. Yeah, and Hyros like costs a lot of money. So
Hyros isn't cheap.
Yeah, isn't cheap. Yeah, so they just can't afford it. So we understood that this is like Hyros is another, they're playing in another league. Yeah, so we're not direct competitors. So we're checking like Leadsbridge and Zapier. Zapier also are one of our competitors. So Leadsbridge, yeah, they allow to do the same stuff as Capibox, but with several exceptions. First of all, you need to allow your Facebook personal account to be tracked by Leadsbridge. So you need to provide them access to your personal account. So Capibox doesn't ask for access to your personal account. So I think this is a huge competitive edge for us and not for Leadsbridge.
To add on to that, now, there's several ways to do business when you're talking about the digital space, especially with Facebook. For instance, we run a digital marketing agency where we specialize in intent-based, affinity-backed, neuroscience-enhanced, omnipresent ecosystems for lead generation, sales scaling, and client acquisition. And we ask for our clients to log in to do that. Now, we also have them add us as partner. Now, the reason we do both methods is because there are some benefits to the other. But it is important to note that Facebook is very, 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 very finicky about login access. Leadsbridge's method, while it may give them more access inherently because you're in the true profile, also has a really high chance of getting your account flagged. Now, I don't know if they have a workaround for that. I've never done business with Leadsbridge. But for those of you listening, it's a general good rule of thumb that, for instance, with us, we use VPNs to emulate their location and their country code so that we don't trigger an event with Facebook. If you're giving your access to somebody, just ask if they use a VPN. Because that could make the difference between you logging into Facebook and having a grand old time and having growth and having leads and having sales, or Facebook deciding Tuesday your account's gone.
Yeah, so I completely understand. Actually, I tried Leadsbridge, And on the step where they asked me to like all of the access to my personal account, I just dropped. Because it's like a ridiculous, because you need to provide all of the accesses to your personal account, like pages, ad accounts, business managers, like all of the photos, profile, like age, gender, and so on and so on and so on. So I think that it's no way solution.
Oh.
And also LeadsBridge, they limits you by connected funnels and by leads generated. So let's say like you generate 1,000 or 100 leads per day. So totally you have 3,000 leads per month. So you will need to have like a pro account, which costs like $99 per month. Yeah. And Capibox like costs $39 per month, and you have an unlimited access.
Cool. So one thing, because I don't just want to highlight Capibox. I believe in it. We use it. We refer people to it. Everybody listening is going to have an opportunity to test it out. What's one thing or two things that you've seen, that you've experienced through your timeline developing this, fine-tuning it, solving the problem, that the people listening could do themselves, let's say without having to sign up for Capibox or another like service, to help understand, one, the importance of it, and two, to still be able to generate a good result with Facebook advertising, etc., that you would recommend that they look into, research, or do?
You mean like without Capibox?
Yeah, so we know the restriction, right? There's 8 events.
Yeah.
Right? Without Capibox, that's the restriction. So what are some ways that you would recommend that people could get the absolute best performance out of it? Because at some point we know that growth is going to push them to a stage where they may need your service. But the Inbound Secret isn't just about highlighting programs, software, and entrepreneurs that have solved the problem. It's also about leveraging your expertise, my expertise, the community's expertise to give tips and tricks to the listeners to help them level up, to help them thrive, not just survive.
Okay. So first of all, you need to verify your domain on Facebook. So this is the same verification if you like set up Google Search Console. So you need to put a short DNS code or some TXT file on your hosting. So it's like you can do that in like 1 minute. So domain verification is the first thing. Yeah. The second thing, we contacted Facebook regarding browser site events like add to carts, page views, and so on and so on and so on. Yeah, because currently Capibox tracks leads and purchase conversions only. You can't track add to carts or view content or other browser site events. So Facebook advises to use both VerPixel together with Capibox. Yeah,
and that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, exactly. So we do the same for our e-commerce store. So Facebook Pixel gets information about add to carts and view content, and Capibox provides 100, let's say 99% tracking for your conversions, like for leads and purchases. So this synergy of browser site tracking, like Facebook Pixel, and server site tracking, like Capibox, is the most it's 1 + 1 = 3. So it's the huge value for Facebook advertisers. So what I suggest, like the domain verification, and use Capibox together with Facebook Pixel.
Awesome. Now we've got to wrap up here for a second, but before we do, I want you to kind of leave us with where people can go to sign up. I'm going to be dropping a link here that you gave me so that everybody can take a look. Find out where people can connect with you, and then basically just wrap up with what other tools may play well or other information or resources that you've provided that can benefit the people listening. So a website, a Facebook page, a YouTube channel, anything that they can go to really kind of get more familiar with or sign up, or things that even complement this? Because I know you've got other softwares. Maybe they could benefit the community as well.
Sure. So yeah, so our software called Capibox. So Bryce will leave his URL in the description of the video, so you can sign up and get a 7 days free trial. So how you can reach me? Yeah. So first of all, you can find me on Facebook, and you can email at support@capibox.com. And I personally now reviewing all of the emails and replying to all of them. So we do not have any support guys, because we started 2 months ago, and I want to understand who our customers are. So what problems they see, how they interact with Capibox and so on. So you can reach me by simple support@capibox.com. So where to find the information? Yeah. So currently, where we're building Capibox, all of the information sources we took from developers page on Facebook. So it's like a huge database of information, but problem is that it's like a geeky stuff. It's super tech savvy information. So it's not like for like regular Facebook advertiser. We put a lot of information on our website, so you can check. We have explanation what Facebook Conversions API is, so you can check the in details, yeah, with the explanation, the comparison between Facebook Pixel and server-side tracking. So there are a lot of info on our website. And if you lack of information, you can email me personally, and I will reply you with all the stuff I understand and I read before developing this Capibox tool.
Awesome. Well, hey, Gerbert, thanks for coming on. Everybody listening, make sure that you guys take advantage of the free 7-day trial. Even if you're kind of on the fence about it, it's worth looking into to see if it's something that'll help you thrive. Make sure to keep up on our Facebook page, The Inbound Secret. Hit up Gerbert, check out Capibox.com, and then we will see you next time on The Inbound Secret.
Thanks, Bryce.
This is the Inbound Secret.
My name is Bryce, and I'm your host for The Inbound Secret, where we're talking with top performers and health experts and sales badasses alike about their strategies to optimize their well-being and performance. Once again, this is The Inbound Secret, and let's get rocking and rolling.
This is the Inbound. This is the Inbound. This is the Inbound. This is the Inbound.